Bro, crazy new setup. Crazy new setup.
Yeah. I'm
So
I'm in
Felix,
yeah, go on.
I was just gonna say, how was your week?
Oh, well, we should address the fact it's been like 4 weeks or whatever,
Ooh,
how long it's been.
how long has it been? It's
I think it's been
been,
like 4 weeks, something like that.
I think the last episode we did was, I think it was in April, bro.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's now June. So yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, do you want to explain or I can explain? It's up to you.
Um, I'll just say from my perspective, all I'd say is going forward now, we plan on having the weekly pods back up.
Mm.
Fucking Ed's got his set up, so we're gonna do some in-person stuff. It's gonna be completely fire. We're gonna be locked in. I've had a mixture of interesting circumstances come up, so I have been all over the place. But now we're getting locked in, sorting out the pod. Yeah, we've got lot to talk about.
Yeah, so I'll say it from my perspective. I think it was just a series of unfortunate events. Um, what was it? I think for one of them, I had a sales call that I needed to prepare for. It was like my second sales call ever. And yeah, I just cancelled it. I just said, Felix, like the priority is preparing for this. And then yeah, I think like it's probably worth somewhat mentioning because we have talked about our girls previously, but um
You had a
I,
Wi-Fi thing as well.
yeah, there were technical
That was
issues. So I've
sweet.
now, you might be able to tell I'm in my new place. I was speaking about it. I believe last time on the pod, I was speaking about the fact that I'm going to move out soon. So that has now materialized. I am in my studio. So yeah, it's still a work in progress. I've got like some lights that I'm gonna put on this shelf, and there's like I'm gonna get some shit on the wall, like a plant to cover this radiator because I think it looks a bit ugly.
Mm, I don't mind it, to be fair.
Yeah,
To
but
be fair.
whatever. So
Mm, yeah.
yeah, that was me. I mean, do you want to address like the elephant in the room, Felix? Or
Yeah, I can do. Also, this is I'm currently at my father's house down south, hence this background. I don't actually have a room here, so this is just like a spare room.
authentic?
I guess the elephant in the room is, seeing as we have spoken about girls before, I will no longer be bringing up my girl as a reference, as we have split up like, don't know, I want to say 3 weeks ago, maybe a bit, maybe a bit more. I don't know. Not obviously not going to go into details, but that's just now that's apparent. Um, yeah, I'm just trying to move on, be as productive as I can, and yeah, just become a better version, really.
So yeah, so I had like the sales call prep, then I was moving out, then Felix like broke up with his girl, and then like I had like Wi-Fi issues. So it's, as I say, it's just been a series of unfortunate events, and taking full accountability. I think, you know, we should have prepared for something like this. We should have known that there will be weeks when our schedules don't align, and
Mm.
prepared content for when those happened. So this is a learning experience. And you know, this doesn't reflect who we are, or our brand. So we'll definitely be learning from this, and moving forwards it will be once weekly podcasts, you know, from now on until we decide otherwise. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
sweet. Yeah, so with that out of the way, do you want to just say what you've been up to recently, what you've been working on?
Yeah, sure. I'm trying to think where we left off. Okay, so recently I have in your PhD, specifically in my uni, you have a 6 month review and a year review. So I've just passed my 6 month review with like flying colors. That basically guarantees my employment until January, which is when I started the PhD. So that would be the yearly review. And they'll again assess, basically, the 6 month review is like a mini assessment of my work so far, basically just to check that I'm doing what, I'm not just like slacking off basically. And the year review is a bit more intense. So I basically last month I was working on that. In terms of, I want what I want to do. I don't have enough time today with the circumstances, but I think in the next coming pods, I want to set up and prep a full pitch plan which discusses the intricacies of the PhD and then the subsequent business opportunity from that. I want to get like a whiteboard. I want to also quiz you, Ed. I want to get your like objective, rational
Definitely.
opinion on it. And yeah, so basically just been working on the PhD, past a 6 month review. In the next 2 months, I'm basically working on finalizing my problem and my just crystallizing what my focus point is. And then I'll be working on my methodology coming into the later part of the year. And for people that don't know, methodology is essentially what experiment or what type of study I'll be actually doing to get the results, which will be done in my second year, but I'll be planning it at the end of this year.
Sweet. Yeah. So I have been, oh, I think, do you know what? It feels like not much has changed, but I'm sure a lot has. I've just been doing warm outreach. So I believe I talked about like the different marketing strategies in a previous pod that we did.
Mm,
And I kind of went over the three main, types of marketing. There's paid ads, content, and outreach. And you can either reach out to strangers or you can reach out to people that you know. And I've basically made a list of everyone that I know and I've just reached out to them one by one. And that's called warm outreach. So I made a list of, I think it was about 170 people, and I have like 30 people left. So I've just kind of been slowly going through the list. I've had 3 sales calls. None of them have been successful. I have 2 like prospects who are like potentially I could convert into clients. Um, One, I'm just like, he said he's interested. I'm just kind of following him up for a call. Another one basically wanted like in-person training, and I told him like that was off the table. So he basically said he'd get back to me at the end of the month with a decision. So I need to chase him up as well. So yeah, it's actually a little bit daunting because, the LBA, this kind of mentorship program that I'm in, they said you will get your first client from warm outreach. And I'm like nearly at the end of the list and I haven't yet. So yeah, that is a bit scary, but I can't lie. I've deliberately saved the best uh contacts for last. So
mm,
basically all of the people who I know are overweight just by visibly looking at them. I wanted to get some experience under my belt before I like message them basically. So
mhm,
yeah, it's not the end of the world because there's 3 people who I know for a fact have the pain, as in like they're overweight enough to like really feel the pain and have the financial means to afford the service. So yeah, I'm really focused on getting them as clients. Like one of them, I'm determined to get to make a client. Um, So yeah, I actually had a meeting on Thursday with my coach, and I kind of told them all of this, and they have advised me to essentially offer what's called a pilot offer. So instead of the full amount, which is 2K, what they recommend, they said um, for the first founding members to basically offer an insane discount and just be transparent that you are my first clients. I am like building out my processes and my approach with you guys. Um, so like that reflects the discount. But in exchange, you're gonna get no one's gonna get as much time one on one with me as you, and no one's gonna pay as little as this. So that's kind of
mm,
the offer that I've been advised to push. It's called a pilot offer. And in exchange for like the discount, it's like I would ask for a testimonial essentially. So then
yeah,
I'm really hoping that, like, honestly, all 3, I feel like all 3 of these people are like, as I said, qualified for this offer. So if I could land all 3, that would be amazing. If I could land one, I'll get a testimonial and then that'll definitely be a massive help. So I'm still optimistic about the future and I haven't even started content. So that's another lead generation vehicle
Mhm.
that I haven't leveraged yet. Um, but yeah, I'm just literally putting in the reps every single day, 5 people a day,
Mhm.
and just being patient basically. So yeah, that's
And
been me for the last
and
4 weeks.
also, you've moved house amongst all this as well, which has been completely scuffed.
Yeah, so yeah, bro, moving is so much effort. I can't lie. Like, I
Mm.
think I definitely underestimated how much time it takes to fucking move. Um, because it's like you have to research, then you have to like visit the properties. You have to like shortlist them, visit them, apply for them. Then once you're accepted, you have to do the whole referencing process, find a guarantor, uh, proof of funds, etc. And then you get the tenancy agreement, you read it, you sign it. Right, you secured the property. That's like step one. Then you gotta pack all your shit, transport all your shit, unpack all your shit, um, buy loads of furniture because this place is unfurnished, right? And that in itself is like measuring the room, researching on Facebook Marketplace and eBay or
Yeah.
IKEA or whatever. And then it's like you got to sort the utilities, the council tax, um, the broadband. And then it's like you need to change all your driver's licenses and then you get some spare keys car. It's just like a never ending pile of shit that's generated
Yeah.
from this like one
Is
task
everything
of
out the way
moving.
now?
Basically everything's out the way. There's a few things I still need to do. For example, like I applied to the council for a single person occupancy discount on my council tax. I'm just like chasing that.
Wow.
And I need to like change all of my addresses on my V5C, my driver's license,
Oh, yeah.
all that shit. And I'm still furnishing the place. So I've got like the main furniture. I've got like a bed, a dining table, a sofa, a desk.
Mhm.
It's just kind of the finishing touches that aren't really that important now. So I think I'm just going to collect all of those other finishing touches over time. My main priority has been this studio. So like getting the bookshelf, getting I've got a standing desk and everything. So I've
Gold.
ordered like a cool plant for here. So yeah, like all to say, it's slowly wrapping up. Um, but it's just like it's A been very taken a shit ton of time and B been extremely expensive. I'm not gonna lie. Like I did
Mhm.
oh my god, so I was going through the finances this morning and I think
Mm.
all in so far it's been 5.5K to move. Yeah.
Oof.
1K 1K on the deposit. I've paid 2 months rent, both 895. And then basically like 2K on furniture. My sofa was 900. I'm not going to go into it. Like dining table, bed, desk, all this, like bookshelf. And then also utilities. So yeah, it's like 5.5 so far.
Mm.
So it's a big hit
Yeah.
and
Wow.
I've just been like it's been a big hit. I can't lie. I can't lie. I could have made it cheaper. Like I could have just got like I'll be real, all of my furniture is new, which I
Mhm.
don't I don't know if I've been stupid. Um I could have just got like any old furniture from Facebook Marketplace. Like the last bed that I got was for 50 quid. What do you think?
Yeah, but
Do you think I
I
should have
don't
just got
know.
it secondhand?
Okay, well, definitely not a bed. I think like that's buy all that shit new. I don't know. I think if you're gonna keep it and like if you're in this place, it's an investment and if you're gonna be there like 2, 3 years, it's gonna last you the whole way. Maybe you'll take it to the next place as well. And it's just gonna that little bit extra of like just a nicer quality of life and just a nicer vibe than just having some like dusty old sofa which you never want to sit in because like I don't know, you might have like a mental block with it because it's like pre-owned or whatever. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think you've been stupid with it. I think you could be stupid with it if you don't like if you ruin them, for example, or like do something crazy shit. But
Yeah, I mean, so my plan for this property is to stay here for the next 2 to 3 years, probably 3 years, to be honest with you. Um,
mm,
yeah, honestly, in an ideal world, I would like because I work in the hospitals in Sheffield, so that's where I get my income. I need to earn a living until this whole business shit takes off, so I'm gonna be here until that happens. So I'm gonna be here until I make it basically, is my plan.
Mm,
Plus my girl's here, plus like whatever. So, um, yeah, like the way I see this place is it's like a long term. I'm gonna be here for the long term. Like as I say, at least the next 3 years, and also
yeah.
I'm gonna be working from home. Like I'm literally just gonna be in my desk, like making content.
Damn, that's
That's
gonna be a nutty arc of just
that
like
that that's what I'm gonna be doing. So the way I see it is, I wanna make my environment conducive to work. And I think if it's like a pleasant environment and one that I can like if I like working in my office and if I can relax in my living room and if I can get to a good sleep at night, I think that's all just conducive to work.
yeah, I agree.
And I've not gone, I think I've gone like very entry level for all of the furniture that I've got. Like, yeah, like I've gotten new, but I haven't like gone crazy with anything. Like all of it is basically the threshold where if it was any cheaper, it would be shit. And if it was any more expensive, it's just diminishing returns. I've tried to have gone I tried to have bought like the sweet spot, like the Goldilocks zone for all of the furniture that I have, where it's like enough money that it's actually good quality,
Mm.
but not so much that like it's just for the brand value or something. So,
Bro, I people listening won't know any of this context. I'll try and give some, but we have a mutual friend called Lewis. I
mm,
might be moving in with Lewis. Our friend Lewis, his cousin is a very high up in like a small business. He's either like whatever's below CEO, whatever that is. He's either that or like a VP. And he basically gave Lewis a set of skills he's got to learn. Our friend Lewis, he is working in a hotel currently, but he's very entrepreneurial, very creative. He's currently doing a poem coloring innovative book aimed at like adolescents. So we'll get him on the pod to talk about that. But anyway, the job that his cousins offered him is completely remote sales. So we might get a crib, honestly, like maybe in like Sheffield or like near or like Nottingham or something. So it's not. I think my commute needs to be under 50 minutes to uni. But then as long as it's under 50 minutes, which Nottingham will easily be, we'll move in together. But that will be in the next like I think he said he'll know in the next 2 months.
yeah. Wow.
I'll let you know about that.
Bro, you didn't even tell me this.
I think this is relatively new. I
Okay.
only spoke to him about it this week. Um,
I mean, bro, if you moved to Sheffield, I would be gassed.
that would be
Bro,
fire.
I would be gassed. I have to say though, I don't think it's under 50 minutes to Derby.
I don't think
Um,
Sheffield is, no. Well,
no.
Loughborough as well.
But to be honest, man, like, yeah, do you know what's, it's so funny. You say it's only an hour away, but it's enough to like stop you seeing each other just on a random Tuesday. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like a 2 hour commute.
Yeah, I think what wouldn't stop is like when I went to go see another mutual friend of ours, Harry, like I stay the night. So
Mm,
like I'll go, I don't think about coming back. Like if I was to go to yours and stay, it's more appealing than leaving and going because it chews up too much time, I think.
mhm. Yeah. But bro, I was gonna say, like, come August, I will be free basically all the time. Um,
Mm,
I've calculated. So I did some finance spreadsheet shit this morning, and my to cover all of my obligations and save like a K per month, I need to make about 3.3K per month. Um,
mm,
so that would involve working 6 12 hour shifts a month. So about two a week for 3 weeks, basically. So like 5 out of the 7 days I'll be available. Um,
oh,
yeah. So and that's assuming no business income, which I'm hoping
mhm.
like I'll have business income by then and I won't need to do it. So yeah, like all to say, I'll be free. You should defo just come and like crash. You can work in You can sleep on the sofa and work on the dining table or whatever.
Mhm.
Anyway, bro, I can get us. I just checked. I can get you a guest pass at Virgin Active for free.
No way.
Yeah, yeah. I just checked the
Oh,
app.
your
Wait,
gym's a Virgin Active. Oh, I didn't
yep.
realize it was that nice. I didn't realize it was that.
Did I not tell you this, bro?
I
Yeah,
I think you told me it was, like, nice, but not Virgin Active. I don't know.
bro. I've got two guest passes. Don't know if you can see that.
Ooh. What, so you can what, simultaneously bring 2 people?
Yeah, so I can bring two people in for free. I think they're only day passes.
That's so chill,
Um,
though.
but if you stayed over, like we could go gym on two different occasions, and you could just come.
No,
Yeah,
I'm so down for that. When, we'll do it within the next, like, 2 months. We'll have the housewarming or whatever, and we'll come over and it'll be a vibe. Or I'll come over on my
100%.
ones.
Yeah, whichever. But all to say, like, it's just
Mhm.
even an hour, it makes quite a big difference, to be honest.
Mm,
Because there's not too many weekends that we're both happen to be free. Like you have to book it quite far in advance, like 2 months, like we said.
yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? You can't really have like the spontaneous
Mhm.
trips, like meetups or whatever. But I guess that's just
Me
adulthood.
Ed and I, we recently went to our friend's birthday, and Ed picked me up, and we didn't record it, but we're getting some interesting conversations, which we're like, we've got to save this for the pod. We've got to save this for the pod. Even our
Yeah.
phone calls that we have, we're like, yo, let's save this for
Mm.
the pod because
Hmm,
interesting
hmm.
content. They're not the exact conversations aren't coming to me right now, but I just think it's comical that we do that, and then we need to make sure that when that happens, I need to go into Notion and put down whatever that we were talking about, so we actually do speak about those topics.
So, have you heard of the concept of a second brain? Have you heard of this?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. So, essentially, there's this productivity guru on YouTube called Tiago Forte, and he kind of came up with the idea of having a second brain, which is essentially a a digital brain where you can capture
Oh,
ideas and store ideas and retrieve ideas. And the logic goes that like our organic brains are really bad. They're good at generating ideas. They're really bad at storing ideas. And unlike a computer, where if you run out of memory, you can just delete certain files that you don't need. Our brains, they just delete whatever, and it could be important, but
pruning, yeah.
you have no control what your brain just decides to delete and what it decides to keep. And a lot of times, it keeps the shit that you wanted it to delete, and like vice versa. So yeah.
What about I would say when I studied psychology at A level, this came up with, pruning of neurotransmitters, like the weaker ones. If you're whatever is going on in your brain, if you're not thinking or you're not activating or stimulating that neural pathway or whatever, that's more likely to be pruned than say, let's say you like, there's a certain way you open your door every day and it's like a special way. If you do that every single day, you're constantly activating that mechanic. And so that's never going to be pruned realistically because it's so like apparent all the time. But I do agree that like, you know, you just, whatever you're not focusing on at the time, you don't realize that you have to, you know, practice whatever you want to learn so it's in your memory, you know?
What is it? There's I can't remember the quote, but it's something like we are like identity equals what you repeatedly do, or something like that.
Ooh,
And yeah, just
I've got something to say after that, but carry on.
yeah. So I remember I read Deep Work by Callum Newport, and he kind of talks about the value of working on one thing for a prolonged period of time, and that's how you quickly develop skill and mastery in anything. And the reason is because when you're focusing on one thing, you are activating one neural pathway in the brain. And whenever a neural pathway gets activated, the fat that surrounds the neurons, it's called myelin, the myelin sheath increases, and that insulates the neuron and therefore increases the probability that neuron will fire again, if that makes sense. Because the energy is being transmitted through the neuron rather than dissipating because it's being insulated by this fatty layer. So, all to say, the more you do a habit, the more that pathway is being reinforced, the more likely you are
Mhm.
to do a habit, and vice versa. So you are what you do repeatedly. That forms who you are, and that forms your
Uh,
identity.
I agree, and if anyone's watched, I don't know if you've watched it if you had time, but when I was driving to Harry's the other day, I watched Alex Hormozy and George Janko's new pod.
I watched that too.
Nutty,
Yeah.
nutty pod, but he's speaking about, what you said, like your actions and how less to do with the brain and more defining how you identify yourself. But I thought it was a nutty pod, bro.
Yeah, man.
What did you think?
I mean, I didn't realize that Alex Hormozy was that religious previously.
Yeah, neither did I.
Yeah.
I was like, "What?"
'Cause he knew, like, all of the verses that, George was saying, and he's even read books that George hadn't even read, like The Case for Christ, and he just
Yeah.
seemed very knowledgeable, like, almost more knowledgeable than the host, George, on the topic.
At points, I thought, yeah, George is like, I think he has is a sort of a comedian. I sort of see him as, whereas Alex Hormozy is like professional. And yeah, I thought it was interesting when Hormozy was like, "I'm all in, like my
Mhm.
actions are aligning, but I still can't get behind like Jesus rose or whatever." And then he just flipped the script and decided to just go against everything he'd known or whatever. I don't know. I think the point that I was thinking of when you were saying about the brain thing with the actions is like he repeatedly said, which I'm trying to do now more of, is if you have a label that you want to be, like let's say you want to be like disciplined or whatever, he says to get dopamine out of that label for yourself. No, sorry, you can get dopamine out of calling yourself that label. Like if you walk around and you're like, you might know you're super strong, or you might know that you're whatever achievement you've done gives you dopamine. And he was saying to get the achievement or the goal or the habit is just like repeating the actions that align with that, and then it becomes a nice loop of I'm gonna do disciplined things so I can call myself disciplined, and I'm gonna feel good about myself about that and not have any other validation. So I'm gonna basically try and, I want to be able to say that I am, a successful entrepreneur. I want to be able to say that I'm disciplined. I want to be able to say that all these things about myself and get dopamine out of that, not in like a validation way, but just like to feel good about myself. And I thought that was super illuminating to like
Mm.
how you should think about yourself.
Yeah, man. I mean, I had that experience with the gym. Like, you go to the gym for a while, and then people start to know you as, like, the guy who's
Jacked Ed.
the guy who's big and strong, yeah. And then
Mm,
if that feels good and you wanna kind of maintain that,
mm,
and then it's just, like, self-reinforcing, you know?
mm, oh,
So I'm sure, like, do you know what's funny? This kind of goes into a separate conversation about feedback loops. So, it often outliers arise,
sorry.
not f
Carry on. I'm just getting my charger, but carry on.
oh, no, it's complete sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I know you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So essentially, I'll just tell you, like, a story. So, imagine that there's a pond with fishes, and one fish, it just happens to be, like, marginally bigger than the other fishes, you know? And so much so that it's like able to, like defeat the other fishes when it comes to getting their like food. And then the more food that it eats, the bigger it gets, the bigger the difference between that fish and the other fishes. And the
Mm,
cycle is self reinforcing. And you see this as well in things like sports people. Like the kid may have been marginally better, a kid may have been marginally better than his team members at football, but because he's marginally better, everyone knows him as like the better player. The coach gives him preferential treatment because he's the better player in the team. he
Mm.
becomes team captain, like this whole identity reinforcement occurs, and then that kid just becomes the outlier, not because genetically he was like way superior than the others, but just because of this positive reinforcement over time.
Ooh, interesting. Mm. So basically, is that trying to say that even if you're, what that's trying to say is you don't have to be 100 million times better than someone else to still, or yeah, the gap isn't as big as people
Mm,
think when it comes to that.
yeah.
But the positive reinforcement is what's
Mhm.
driving some things.
And Alex Hormozy said that apparently like he spoke to some sports psychologist or something, and he said like, what is the difference between like the A players and the B players? Like what makes the difference?
Mm,
And the psychologist told him that the A players find more ways to reward themselves. And so they get more rewardment from the same they get more reinforcement for the same behaviors, and then they do those behaviors more often. So like for example, in the gym, you can if you're not tracking your weights, you don't know if like one day you did one more rep on an exercise and that would have given you reinforcement and like encouraged you that you're getting stronger. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So if you're only going off looks as like a measure of improvement, you're gonna
mm.
fail to the person who's like tracking everything and has like all of these different ways to
Ooh,
reinforce themselves.
yeah, true, true. Because you might look worse, but you might be stronger, and then you've just falsely.
Yeah. And this is why who you're friends with is so important, because if a certain behavior is cool or not cool in a friendship group, it will be reinforced differently. And then that'll affect your outcomes as a person without you even realizing it. Like in our friendship group, we're all super into the fucking gym and we all really encourage each other. Oh, can you hear me? I think you've frozen. We'll just pause it.